the one that's tied to the dude that makes the loaded dice, right? Check the play out. All entertainers, when you go to Houston, stay away from J. Prince Jr. A whole play going on. Here go the play right here. The play is a loaded dice.
Hey, the internet, y'all got us all the way up. We met that dude, Duke the Jeweler, the night before. We was gambling. The next day, dude followed us to the concert. When we left out the concert, we under the garage. Dude went to his car by himself and walked down to the parking lot. That's when somebody tried to kill.
Blood-stained dice rolled across that velvet table like a bad omen. Smiles all around, fake as ever. Only one man was leaving that room with a pulse. Duke the Jeweler didn't go out broke. He went out dripped in ice, surrounded by snakes. And now, there's blood on Mob Ty's hands, and the feds ain't playing blind no more. Let's get one thing straight. Duke didn't get hit by some masked goons in a back alley. Nah! He was executed, plain and simple. This all went down right after he left Boogie's dice game, where he was surrounded by folks who dapped him up like family, only to maybe be throwing secret signs behind his back. Now those same faces are under a federal microscope, and guess who's stirring the pot? 50 Cent. He's reposting receipts, sharing whispers, and low-key pointing at a setup way deeper than anyone expected. And here's where it gets wild. Just 2 weeks before Takeoff was tragically killed at another dice game, Duke was shutting down the table at a J. Prince Jr. game. Same vibe, same energy. It's almost like history was rehearsing itself. And when the wrong man starts winning, that's when the masks drop and chaos kicks in. Now the whole Mob Ties circle. Boosie, J. Prince Jr., Lil Cam, they're all under the heat. What started as quiet murmurs has turned into a loud-ass warning. But how did we even get to this point? Time to pull back the curtain, because what looked like a friendly dice game might have been a trap from the jump. From the outside, Duke the Jeweler was living like a king. Born in Chicago, built his empire from scratch, all hustle, no handouts. Duke wasn't just throwing icy chains on up-and-coming rappers. He was creating next-level pieces for some real heavy hitters. His name was ringing out in the industry, and his work spoke for itself. He didn't fly out to Houston for fun and selfies. He came for the bag. Word is, Boosie himself invited Duke down to talk business over a custom piece. So Duke packed up that $1 million Louis duffel, filled with his top-tier designs, and pulled up ready to deliver. But what he didn't know was that this trip might have been his last. Let's zoom in on that dice game that changed everything. According to leaked audio from WAC 100, yes, straight from someone with street-level sources, this wasn't no friendly dice match. It was a setup, allegedly.
Entertainer invites him in, act like he's covering for him, hanging out, everything is cool. Let's go here, let's go there, let's go here, let's go there. He introduces the dice game. He got 3 mothers, right, who rotate the dice. Now, these dice is loaded. Tell me it's a Wolf, Big Caprice, and watch this, and Little Cam are the loaded dice rotators.
Word on the street is, J. Prince Jr. runs a rigged dice ring, and it's always the same 3 names posted up at the table. Lil Cam, Big Capri, and Wolf. These 3 rotate the dice like it's some sacred little ritual. Always switching hands, always keeping the house on top. But that night, someone fumbled the rotation. Wax says Duke got his hands on the wrong dice, the loaded ones, and started going crazy. He was hitting hundreds, then racks, then stacking tens of thousands real quick. And when someone breaks a crooked system, it sends the whole crew into panic mode. Because if the house don't win, the whole game falls apart. Let's get into that chaos next. Word on the street is J. Prince Jr. allegedly pockets 30% off every dice night haul. So when Duke started snatching up stacks, that wasn't just bad luck for the crew. That was straight up messing with the money. And Duke wasn't playing it low-key either. He came in loud, flashy, and full of confidence. Dripped in diamonds, tossing bands like it was parade day, and filming everything for the gram.
Right? He said, what? There was a situation that occurred that a certain jeweler round and got past the dice on accident and was hitting on them for a couple hundred. They got irritated about that. I ain't gonna go too far into that story because, right, boom. The only way they could get their money back was however their money back. He said, but Lil Cam Wolf and Big Caprice are the three designated to say I'm up, I got the next, and they pass the dice to each other, but they loaded, but they shooting.
Now here's where things get real shady. If you pause that dice game footage and watch closely, there's a moment where Boosie lets out this low whistle. Not loud or wild, just enough to be caught. Right after that, his nephew turns and locks in on Duke like he got the memo. Then another guy in a red hoodie taps the nephew's arm like a signal had just been sent. And just like that, the whole vibe in the room flips. 1 minute, Duke's laughing, cracking jokes, tossing dice like it's just another game. The next, it's like the air went cold. Minutes later, Duke's gone. That kind of tension doesn't come from nowhere. That's not paranoia. That's body language. When someone walks into a room full of folks who already made up their minds, you feel it in your bones. Still think this was just a regular dice game? Then ask yourself this. Why would a millionaire like Boosie bring a guest rocking over $1 million in jewelry to a dice night full of sketchy faces without any security? And why didn't J. Prince Jr. have any protection set up for an out-of-town VIP known for carrying that kind of heat? None of it adds up. Now rewind to the exact moment Duke left that game. No security, no entourage, no driver, just him, alone, walking through a dark Houston parking lot after being surrounded by millions in cash and jewels all night long. If that sounds shady, that's because it is. But things go from sketchy to downright sinister real quick. Within minutes, shots go off. Duke is ambushed and shot dead, and get this, when it's a robbery, what usually disappears first? The jewelry and the money.
Some dudes tried to rob him. Some dudes had tried to rob me and walked off by himself. I had just met dude yesterday. Some bitch tried to rob dude. Dude must ain't get up.
Folks from Flight Zach, we're number 2 for departure. Flight attendants, please bear the captain.
Just met dude.
But Duke was found with everything still on him. The ice was untouched. So what kind of robbery leaves behind 7-figure diamonds? The same exact pieces he wore to Boosie's concert earlier that night. But here's the real mic drop. The Louis Vuitton bag Duke was carrying, the one filled with his unreleased custom designs, it didn't vanish. It popped up inside Boosie's house. Yeah, that part was confirmed by Houston PD.
We was in a garage. He must have walked outside to the parking lot. We was in the garage. We heard the but it like they was far away in the parking lot. He must have went to his car or something, bro. Dude was finna make a piece for him too. Damn.
Now, whether Duke handed it off to Boosie to keep it safe during the game, or Boosie somehow ended up with it after the fact, either way, it's messy. Let that sink in. We might not have all the answers, but one thing's crystal clear. The bag made it back to Boosie. Duke didn't, and Boogie's response? A shaky Instagram live from a plane, claiming he barely even knew Duke and saying he just walked off. Wait, didn't Boosie say Duke was supposed to make him a custom chain? You barely knew him, but you invited him to a private dice game, had him flashing $1 million in jewelry, and then let him walk to his car alone? That don't add up. Something's not clicking here. And let's keep it real. Boosie didn't look calm or confident. He looked pale, rattled, like someone who just saw a ghost. But if you thought that looked bad, it gets worse. The feds, already watching Boosie for other legal heat, split Duke's case into its own federal investigation. That means no burying it behind past charges, just a direct spotlight on what happened the night Duke died. And when the feds turn up the heat, they always track the phone. Duke's last ping, it showed up at Boosie's recording studio. Now, unless Duke's phone magically walked itself over there, someone in Boosie's circle brought it. And here's the kicker. They didn't even try to cover it up. They didn't wipe it, didn't smash it. The phone just went dark after that one final ping, like somebody hit the power and thought that was enough. That's what really lit the fire under the feds. When they ran a forensic sweep of Duke's rental car, they found Prince, Boosie's nephew, and Boosie's cousin. And just when it felt like this story couldn't get any darker, it did. A witness who was outside the building, just smoking, stepped forward. They said they saw Duke walking solo toward his car. Nothing seemed off at first, but then Boosie's nephew popped out from the shadow, like he was posted there waiting. Duke must have felt something wasn't right because he allegedly swung first, tried to protect himself, but he never had a real shot. In one fast move, Boosie's nephew allegedly pulled the trigger. No robbery, no attempt to make it look like one either. Why? Because it was never about robbing him, it was about silencing him. And instead of vanishing, they kept the bag. That ain't sloppy, that's bold, that's cocky.
I gotta do my research, see what jeweler might have been down there shooting nice. But nevertheless, to all the entertainers, Dukes of Hazzard was one of my favorite shows, right? I don't know if y'all watched that. I was thinking about Daisy Dukes for a reason. I don't know why I said that. One might go with it, may not go with it, but I don't know. If the math is math, and let it math. But entertainers, beware of with Jay Prince Jr. when he talking about let's go shoot some dice. Because the loaded dice crew of three Cam Wolf and Big Caprice. We know Lil Cam in there because I believe somehow, some way he was caught up in the dice situation. Rest in peace, Takeoff. I don't know what's going on. But what I do know is this. Jay Prince Jr. got a whole thing that when y'all come into town.
And guess who's been watching it all unfold? 50 Cent. He's been peeping every detail. And you ever notice this? Every time a celeb pulls up in Houston, there's always that unspoken warning. Make sure you check in. It ain't official. It's not on paper, but it's real. Artists, influencers, even pro athletes have all heard it. If you move through Houston without checking in with Jay Prince Jr. and the Mob Ties crew, you're rolling the dice with your own life. But what nobody wants to say out loud is, what if the ones you check in with are the same ones lining you up? Let's keep it all the way real. Jay Prince Jr. was the host of that dice game, the same setup where Duke showed up, and the same host tied to the game where Takeoff lost his life. After Duke turned up dead too, that whole check-in culture flipped from a sign of protection to straight-up suspicion. Cause if Jay Prince Jr. really runs Houston like he claims, how come two high-profile guests didn't make it out alive? Even Whack 100 had to speak up. He didn't hold back. Called the whole thing a scam ring. Said Jay Prince Jr. pulls entertainers in, plays the homie card, makes them feel safe, then lures them into dice games where his crew already got them boxed in.
Hold on, bro. Didn't they say Fifth Ward earlier that day shooting dice?
Yep.
That's a
Yep.
fact. That word been out, Whack. That word been out. We been got that memo.
And then, so I've been getting hit all day, and it got to the point at the thing, Quavo like getting into dice. That's what this nigga Jay Prince Jr., boy, these niggas got all kind of shit going on down there. He said the jeweler nigga got past the dice. He didn't even know the motherfuckers was loaded. He just think he hitting. These niggas is mad as a motherfucker because they like, nigga, how you pass this nigga the loaded dice on us?
Now the streets are talking, and some artists are quietly backing away from the chaos. Labels are pulling out of Houston events left and right. The city's starting to feel radioactive. Even 50 Cent has been throwing shade, reposting clips, dropping bold captions, and calling out the whole dice game scene. Some folks say he's playing with fire. Others think he's just the only one with the guts to say what everyone else is scared to admit. Behind the scenes, Boosie's reportedly shaking. The feds ain't playing, they're digging deep, separating Duke's case from his old gun charges and zeroing in only on the night Duke died. They've started combing through his mansions, tracing his finances, and even checking his son's digital activity up. But the biggest twist might be coming from inside his own circle. Word is, Boosie's own girlfriend allegedly told someone he ran back inside that night, looking nervous and acting like he was hiding something. And yet, he keeps acting like he's got no clue what happened. Now people are asking the real question: if Boosie goes down, who's he dragging with him? Cause Boosie don't move alone. His nephew's involved, his cousin's in the mix, and now his name's wrapped up with Jay Prince Jr., who's already feeling major pressure from all sides. After Takeoff's death, all the threads started crossing, and guess what? They're all pointing back to one table, and it gets even wilder. Finesse 2 times, the same artist Mob Ties once backed heavy, is now slowly pulling away and airing things out. He used to shout out Jay Prince Jr. in interviews, now he barely says his name. Something definitely flipped. At first, the fallout seemed quiet. Finesse just stopped showing up with Jr. No concerts, no green room hangs, nothing. Then the whispers started. The whole beef kicked off over a woman, and not just any woman, Finesse's baby mama. Word is, a few months back, she and her mother allegedly lined him up, called the cops, and got him locked up for violating probation. And guess who stepped in to bail him out? Jay Prince Sr. himself. Made a few behind-the-scenes calls, pulled some strings, and within 2 weeks, Finesse was back on the streets. But instead of cutting ties with the girl who allegedly set him up, Finesse ran right back to her. That's when Senior hit his limit. He got on Twitter and said this loud and clear: "I told the homie to stay the F away from that woman if he loves his life, but the homie wouldn't listen to my words, even after I had to step in to get him out of prison. Y'all better be careful out here thinking these women got your best interests at heart." And just when you think it can't get more tangled, oh, it does. Now here's where it gets straight up scandalous. The streets are buzzing with a wild rumor. Jay Prince Jr. might have gotten Finesse's girl pregnant behind his back. Is it confirmed? Nope. But the fact that people are believing it and Finesse hasn't denied it, that says everything. Some fans tried to brush it off as messy drama, but others started seeing the pattern. Junior's got long-standing beef with Takeoff's family. He's beefing with Boosie behind the scenes. And now Finesse, he's out here spiraling in public. So the question everyone's asking is, how many bridges can one man burn before his whole empire crumbles? Because here's the truth. When your whole image is built on silence, fear, and power moves, it only takes one flip, one artist, one friend, one witness, and it all comes crashing down. So now we wait. Will Boosie be the one to finally speak up? Will Finesse snap and spill what really happened? Or will 50 Cent, who's been relentless about exposing mob ties, put so much pressure on Junior that he breaks the code of silence just to save himself? Either way, the walls are closing in fast. The collapse has already started, and what used to be whispers in the streets are turning into hard knocks from the feds. Behind the scenes, federal agents are now quietly combing through Boosie's entire estate portfolio. His Baton Rouge mansion, his Georgia land, they're tracking every move and every dollar. He's not just under investigation anymore, he's under surveillance. And remember, it ain't just about Boosie. Jay Prince Jr. is in the hot seat too. Artists are backing off, labels are stepping away. This ain't rap beef, it's RICO energy. And with Duke's killer possibly caught on tape, all it takes is one person to leak it, whether the TMZ or the feds. And if that footage drops, it's game over. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe for more crazy stories just like this. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one.